You cannot like this man. You can hate his policies. You can hate everything that he stands for. But you are not allowed to celebrate the former president of the United States almost having his head blown off on national television. Now I'm afraid of what's going to come next. I think some people are just so disgusting and hypocritical, and they do not know how to separate politics from real life. Because I don't care if this were Barack Obama, Joe Biden, George W. Bush, no one deserves to have what happened to Donald Trump happen to them. Hello everyone, my name is Rogan and this is this Bahamian Gyal. On my platform, I do social commentary and reaction videos. I encourage my audience to have private conversations in public. All right, everyone, so this is going to be an impromptu video because you know I don't really upload videos on Sundays. Wednesday is my day. But considering what happened with former President Donald Trump on Saturday, there's no way that this could wait until Wednesday. I had to weigh in right now because I'm just seeing and hearing some really stupid conversations being had from people in my family, in my personal circle, my friends circle, just people online. And it's just bothered me to the point where I just felt like I had to say something here on my channel. So I'm sure most of you already know that former President Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt on his life over the weekend. It was on Saturday, actually, in Pennsylvania. He was at a rally speaking before a large crowd when gunshots rang out. I think he was just a few seconds or maybe a minute or two into his speech when those shots rang out. And Secret Service immediately handled the shooter. He was taken down. Unfortunately, one rally goer was killed. It was a gentleman who apparently, according to his wife, dived on top of his family to protect them from the gunshots, and he was killed. There are two other people in critical condition, and the former president, was treated at hospital. I don't know where you all were when you got the news, but I was inside of a local eatery in Maryland when I got the news. I literally got the news on their TV screen. I turned around and people were just kind of like walking in kind of calmly, and I had already placed my order, and I turned around and I looked at the TV and I saw the ticker, like the breaking news ticker, fly across the screen, and then all I'm seeing is Donald Trump, and I'm thinking, oh God, I hope he didn't have a heart attack or something on the podium, because the words that he had been shot had not come across the screen as yet. And then it said that he had been shot, and he just saw all of the Secret Service agents just kind of like jumping on top of him, I guess, to protect him. And my heart sank. My stomach dropped. I'm just standing inside of this eatery like, I hope this man isn't dead. Luckily, thank God, he was not. He was shot in his ear. And all I kept thinking about as I just stood there just watching was, had this shooter, who is a 20-year-old male who's been killed, had he been more precise of a shooter, or had that bullet hit Donald Trump just a little closer to his head, yeah, he would be gone. And this is not good for America at all. What's really bothered me these past few hours, and I say hours because this just happened yesterday, today is Sunday, is just seeing the amount of people who are just so dismissive about it, or quick to like just jump up and talk about conspiracy theories, saying that he must have orchestrated this to get sympathy from voters, which is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's not even his personality. If you've been watching this man for as long as I've been watching him, and I'm not even talking about inside of the race, I'm talking about even as a businessman in New York, like that's just not his MO. And what's really bothered me the most, I think, of everything is just the amount of people who were celebrating online that had happened. I think that is just the most cruel thing that could come out of this, is that people would be celebrating this. Just on a personal note, I am no stranger to gun violence. I have had family members killed. I've never said this on YouTube, but killed in the front of me. Okay. And that is a very triggering thing when I see something like this on television. I'm not even just talking about for the president. I'm talking about anybody. If there's crime in DC, if there's crime in the Bahamas, there's a crime anywhere. Like, it's a very triggering thing for me. And I certainly wouldn't want to know that there are people in the world that would be celebrating my loved one's passing. Luckily for the Trump family, this was not a death, but I'm very, very disturbed by it. So let's just jump right in. I just want to show the video because I don't want to assume that everybody has seen it. there are some people who aren't really tuned into news. They may have heard, but they haven't seen the actual video. So let's just take a look at the video. This one is courtesy of Fox News. Yeah, let's go.
Oh, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. Oh.
Ready? Move! Up! Move! Go! Up! Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Move it to the stair. Stair, get ready. Stair, get ready. We ready? Are we good? Shooter's down. Are we good to move? We're good to move. We're clear. We're clear. Let's move. We're clear.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay. My shoes down. Watch out.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it right there. That was just like, even just in rewatching that, like I just got like chills down my spine just to see this, because like I said, thank God he got up. Thank God he is okay. But that could have been completely different. He could have been laid there on that floor, on that stage, dead. And I think that's what people are definitely missing. And this is just absolute pandemonium. There was, but let me just say this first of all. It's just kind of crazy, because when he did his air like that, and then I heard further shots, I thought that was the first shot, and then he got several shots when he just fell to the ground. That was my first thought. I felt like, this is just my criticism right now of the Secret Service. Like, I felt like that area should have been secured way more than this. And then you'll get to hear in a few minutes, one of the rally goers was saying that they saw this man, the shooter, wearing army fatigue, and he had a rifle, and he went on top of a roof. And this gentleman was saying how he and other people were telling the police or the Secret Service, hey, there's a guy with a gun up there, and they just were kind of like, like dismissive. So I feel like heads are definitely going to roll. There's a part of me that is so happy that he got up and he was able to kind of like do the fist pump and like, just to let them know he was okay and to kind of rally the troops, so to speak. But then a part of me is also thinking, in that moment, I heard the Secret Service guy saying, shoot her down. But you don't even know if that person is just by themselves. You don't know if there are more people there. So to allow him to be on the stage, and I know he wants to engage with he's thinking like a civilian. He wants to engage with his base, his rally goers. It's still not a good move to have him still there. Like, they should have immediately tried to get him more protected. Like, there was still a way to shoot him if they wanted to, or to get at him. I think that they should have secured that a little bit better. So that was a little concerning. And I'm ambivalent about it, because it's like, I want him to be able to show us that he's okay. And at the same time, I want to make sure that he is safe. You know what I mean? And that he's moved from this area. I'm not a Secret Service expert. I'm just a layman watching this. And that's just my thought. Like, I wouldn't be worried about your shoes, because you can hear Donald Trump saying, let me get my shoes. I'm not concerned about the shoes if I'm Secret Service. I'm not concerned about your hat. I'm secure about securing you and getting you off that stage. But this is just such a disaster and so disheartening for America. And America is no stranger to assassinations and assassination attempts. We've had several. And I'm going to let you hear from Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is no stranger to assassinations. His own uncle, JFK, was assassinated, and his own father, who was the Attorney General, was assassinated. So his perspective is definitely needed at this time. But let's just go really quickly to the gentleman. I'm going to play this out because CBS 8 Live, what is this, released some information about the shooter. one of the things that was said was, oh, this must be Democrats who did this. Well, I'm kind of happy that they've released information saying that this man was a registered Republican, because I think when we are talking about these things in the immediate aftermath, tensions are high, emotions are high, and people want to just blame the other side. And I don't think this is the time for that. I think we need to calm down until we understand exactly what we're dealing with. So let's just listen to this. I'm going to play this real quick.
We had what we're calling an assassination attempt against our former president, Donald Trump. It's still an active crime scene.
The Secret Service says a man attending the rally was killed. A doctor standing nearby tried to help him performing CPR.
The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here.
Trump raised his fist as he left the stage. On his Truth Social site, the former president said he was shot by a bullet that pierced the upper part of his right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. He wrote, much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. He was treated at a local hospital and released hours later. A New York Times photographer captured what appears to be one of the bullets.
I just hear these 4 shots and everybody's screaming drop, and you can see the blood like splatter on his face, and the Secret Service just barricades him.
The Secret Service says the gunman was outside the cordoned off area of the rally, standing on an elevated structure, and that he was shot and killed by a member of the agency's counter-assault team.
We're not prepared at this time to provide the identity of the potential shooter. We're in the process of doing the confirmation.
Some rally attendees say they tried to warn police after spotting the suspect.
There's a guy on the roof with a rifle, and the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on.
A large number of Secret Service agents is in Milwaukee right now ahead of the convention. They're trying to piece together what happened here in Butler. President Biden spoke a couple hours after the shooting.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick.
The president left Delaware tonight to return to the White House. He spoke to Trump after the shooting. This was Trump's last rally ahead of next week's Republican convention in Milwaukee. He was taken away in a motorcade and again held up his fist as he got into his SUV.
Oh, that man is a tough cookie. I'm not going to lie. Donald Trump is extremely tough. I think one of my subscribers, I put a post inside of and my community page, and he was like, yeah, he's from New York, he's tough, and New Yorkers are certainly tough. I think that was a brilliant display of strength and courage, to be honest with you. And I just want to talk a little bit about why it's so important for us to be so careful with the rhetoric, right? You know, even on my channel, like, I'm not interested in like division. I'm really not. I always tell you guys, like, I want us to have great conversations and that sort of thing. Because and this is one of the reasons why I cannot stand politics. I really hate politics. I'll comment on it from time to time on my channel, you know, but I really don't like it because I don't like what it's become. And maybe politics has always been this way, but I've seen people be a little bit more civil with politics, but I'm always really concerned about rhetoric, you know, and the things that we say. Everybody's not like you and me. Everybody's not going to sit back and hear a politician say, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Donald Trump is a threat. He's going to destabilize the government. And then we hear that and we go, okay, so we know what we have to do. We have to make sure that this guy's not elected. And we don't mean not elected as in he's dead. But when you cast that net so wide, so far and wide, you don't know who you're going to pull up. And who you pull up sometimes are people who don't hear things the same way you and me hear things. They hear, oh, he's a threat to the government. He's a threat to democracy. He's going to ruin America, the America that I love. You're saying that I have the power to save America? All right, bet. I'm going to save America. I'm going to do it my way. And my way ends up being Crook's way. Firing shots at a former president. Is Trump that much of a threat that you need to kill him? If he's that much of a threat, just don't vote for him. Right now, I'm very afraid of what comes next because violence begets violence. And this fella, the Crooks fella, who they took down, the Secret Service took down, they said that he had explosives in his car. They said that they found explosives in his home. At this point, we don't even know if he was operating by himself, if he were a lone wolf, or he's a part of a group. We just don't know. And that's what's scary. And then retaliatory actions could come. I certainly wouldn't want anything to happen to Joe Biden. I don't want anything to happen to anybody, period. And certainly not our leaders. Donald Trump has called for unity, which is smart. I think in the beginning, there were some Republicans who were blaming the left, blaming Democrats. And I was just like, don't do this. Please don't do this. This is the time to be mature. This is the time to unite. This is the time for America to close ranks. This is not the time to be sowing seeds of division. It's really not. That's why we have to be so careful about all this foolishness that we're saying. These attack ads that I see. I hate politics and I hate political time. I hate election years for this very same reason, because now you're just destroying your political opponent, left, right, and center. Then you got to dial back when something like this happens. Because I hear that the Democrats have suspended their campaigns, I suppose. Not their campaign, but they suspended their advertisement, pardon me. Because it's just inappropriate. It's inappropriate. This week, for example, Wednesday I already had a video basically ready to go. It was going to be a sponsored video. And I had to contact the sponsor and say, I'm not running that video because that video was going to be about Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And it's just not appropriate. And even in that video, I wasn't nasty or anything like that. I certainly was not nasty. But still, this ain't the time to even, I'm sorry, I don't feel the need to be critical at this moment about this. This is just sick. It's just sick. And so for the people who I hear online just saying, oh, he deserved to get this, and oh, he don't care about people, and that's what he gets, and good, now Biden can win. And I'm like, that's how you want Biden to win? By his opponent being assassinated? That's how you all want y'all candidate to win? This is dumb. Y'all people are so freaking immature, man. I just don't even know what to say. I do know what to say. What I want to say is going to be so offensive, though. I won't say it. I know what I want to say, and I could say it. But you got to know when to hold them, know when to shut up sometimes, you know? Let's take a listen to Robert F. Kennedy. Like I said earlier, he's no stranger to assassinations. And he had some really good insight, too, especially as a candidate in the upcoming election. So,
how did you find out about this? We all found out about this in our own different ways. I saw a text message, wasn't sure if it was real or what was going on, and then I started searching. How did you find it?
I saw a text message at first. Somebody in my group showed me a text message, and then we turned on the television and we watched it as the story was evolving. And, of course, I've been through this before with my own family. I was with my dad and he died in Los Angeles. I understand the implications that this has for our country, and probably as well as anybody does. And, I think my message to people is we need to all renounce violence. We need to renounce not just violence, but the hatred and vitriol. And we need to stop marginalizing each other, and let's have a dialogue with each other, but do that and a conversation and a debate. Well, let's do that without hating each other. When my uncle was killed in 1963, there was this kind of division again. There was this kind of hatred. When my father was killed, it was in the midst of a time that was probably the most divisive in American history at that time since the American Civil War. And we're back into that kind of milieu today. And we all need to take responsibility for it. When we post something that is mean-spirited, that is condemnatory, that is poisonous towards somebody else, we're contributing to this atmosphere of violence, to giving permission to the crazy people who are out there to do acts like this, and we're all complicit in that. If we're contributing to this hatred, we are all complicit in what happened today. Oh, it's time we stop doing this. It's time we start treating each other with respect, and stop scaring each other about the other candidates, because it gives permission to the people, whoever did this, it gives them permission to do these kind of acts.
I agree 100%. We are definitely all complicit if we're doing that. And I think this is why I gravitate towards Robert F. Kennedy. in so many ways, just because he's such a measured man. He's so measured, and that's what I gravitate towards. I don't like extremists. Even on this platform, I'm not interested in just bad-mouthing one side and that's it, and glorifying the next side. Like, to me, I like people who can call it as it is. That's how I am, and that's how this platform operates. Just call it as it is. I can criticize Trump today, and I can still feel sorry and pray for his family tomorrow or tonight. His wife, I would imagine, is just losing her mind, or especially in that moment. He has a young son. He has children, he has grandkids. That's their grandfather. Y'all need to just know how to just separate, like I say, just separate the foolishness. Separate the foolishness. I'm not American, but I love this country. I love this country. And I don't want us to devolve into something that resembles a lot of what you see happening in developing nations, where political opponents are killed or their families are killed, because they don't want a certain candidate. You don't want that for America. I like that America's always seemed to me. I mean, of course, we've had assassinations here and we've had assassination attempts, but I like that people seem to, love their side. They can go and vote, and they just do so peacefully, rather than this, what we saw on Saturday. Anyway, I'm happy that the Democrats are, for now, and I hope they change things moving forward. I hope both sides change things moving forward, because this was just too close for comfort. And I certainly don't want to see anybody hurt during this election cycle, period. But, definitely I don't want any of our leaders or candidates being hurt. I wouldn't want anything to happen to Joe Biden or Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Come on. And for those people who are sitting back and laughing and thinking that this is funny, I hope this never befalls your family. And I'm not saying that like how some people say, I hope it never befalls your family, but they secretly do want it to happen to you. I don't want it to happen to you. Because as I mentioned earlier, I've had family members killed right in the front of me. It is a sick feeling. It's a sickening feeling. And I wouldn't want that. I don't care how much I dislike you. I wouldn't want you to go through that. I just hope that people would just sit back and think about the foolishness that they say and so quick to post online before they just start spouting off at the mouth. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this entire thing. Like I said, I'm very fearful about what's going to happen moving forward. I hope to God that there are no retaliations or people coming armed to do things to other candidates, because sometimes this emboldens and empowers other people who have the most ill intentions to just do the craziest things. And I think all of our politicians, Donald Trump included, need to scale back how they're talking and don't. One of the things he said on the stage was fight. And I don't want people to, I don't want them to misinterpret that. I don't know the intent in which he said it. I'm not even going to say how I feel he said it. I don't know. He'll have to explain that. But I hope it wasn't in a negative way. And I hope that he is not encouraging anybody, kind of like galvanizing the troops to do anything. I don't want that. You don't want that. We don't want that for America. Drop your comments down below, and I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful Sunday. And I love you guys. Stay safe. Bye-bye.